Hello everyone. On behalf of the Bureau of Foreign Trade, I would like to welcome you to attend today's forum. New technologies are developing faster than ever, presenting radical change to the way we live and work. Taiwan is at the center of this change because the information and communication industry and the semiconductor industry are important pillars in Taiwan's economic development. Apart from having robust hardware productivity, we are also strong in software innovation. International tech giants such as Google, Microsoft, and Amazon have all set up R&D centers in Taiwan. The reason why they come to Taiwan is the experts in hardware and software integration that can be found in Taiwan. The other key is Taiwan's strong protection of intellectual property rights. Many countries are now preparing for the era of 5G, and Taiwan stands to be an early adopter. The government has come up with a 5G action plan, which will develop a broad range of value-added telecommunication services and vertical applications. 5G, which emphasizes on high bandwidth, low latency services, and high-density networks of users, will open up opportunities for Taiwan and its partners in network communication, servers, terminal equipment, and telecom operation. With the rise of AI, EV, big data, etc., new technology and services are increasingly reliant on semiconductor and computing. The recent shortage of chips worldwide prompt us to think about the importance of strengthening supply chain resilience. Having said that, international cooperation is the best way to ensure supply chain efficiency and stability. I would like to take this opportunity to share with you our strength in two areas, that is, semiconductor and EV. In terms of semiconductors, Taiwan has a complete semiconductor ecosystem that enables the sector to dominate the global market. In 2020, the output value of Taiwan's semiconductor industry exceeded US $100 billion, growing 20% over the previous year. The trend still remains to be so for the first 4 months of 2021. As to EV, Taiwan has an abundant capacity for EV parts. Taiwan auto industry has developed for more than 70 years. In recent years, we are shifting to the production of EV parts and entered into many international car manufacturers' supply chain systems, such as Tesla, GM, and Ford. Now let me talk about this year's forum. COMPUTEX is one of the world's largest B2B platforms for outsourcing ICT products and high-tech applications. Due to the outspread of the pandemic, the on-site exhibition this year has to be canceled. However, please be assured that this year's COMPUTEX is bringing more exciting online events and the most innovative tech insights online. This year, COMPUTEX features future technology in 4 themes, that is, AIoT evolution, AI, critical technology, and tomorrow tech. In this session, world-renowned ICT players and global tech leaders will share their perspectives on the latest development of AI, 5G, IoT, and quantum computing, as well as the strategies for navigating the new normal. Finally, I hope that everyone takes full advantage of the resources available to you at this forum. We look forward to working with you in advancing our common values and interests. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Alex Gutouzian, Senior Vice President and General Manager of Mobile, Compute, and Infrastructure for Qualcomm Technologies. COMPUTEX is such a special event each year for the computing industry. And while we can't be all together in Taipei, I'm excited to be participating in this virtual event. We're rapidly moving towards a world that is more connected and intelligent. It's being driven by the convergence of connectivity and computing technologies from mobile with traditional computing, edge devices, and the cloud. And it's already starting to transform the way we work, the way we live, the way we play, and the way we connect with others. 5G is foundational to this intelligently connected future, enabling new experiences that are more interactive, immersive, and engaging, while also driving digital transformation across virtually every industry. The momentum we've seen with 5G just 2 short years after the first commercial networks launched has exceeded all expectations, with more than 160 operators in over 65 countries having launched commercial 5G services, significantly more than 4G during its initial years of commercialization. What's amazing about these numbers is that the majority of this growth occurred during the pandemic. There is no stronger statement about the resilience of the 5G ecosystem. Looking ahead, the future is equally promising, with over 270 additional operators investing to deploy 5G. As 5G proliferates, it's becoming a powerful catalyst for economic growth across regions. According to data from IHS Markit, 5G will enable more than $13 trillion in global sales activity in 2035 and support for more than 20 million jobs. An area where we see 5G having a tremendous impact and that I'm personally passionate about is the computing segment. With the onset of the pandemic and shift to remote working and distance learning, the way we use our laptops was forever changed as productivity needs rapidly expand from accessing corporate and school systems to spending significant portions of our time on video conferencing calls and virtual collaborations. The fact that now we're using Zoom as a verb should tell you something. These changes also fueled the need for fast, reliable, wireless broadband connectivity, needs that will remain long after the pandemic is behind us. According to various industry studies, more than 80% of employers plan to allow employees to continue to work remotely at least part-time. And over 70% of workers want flexible remote work options to continue into the future. 5G, with its fiber-like speeds, ultra-low latency, and massive capacity, is elevating connectivity, mobility, and productivity to meet the needs of a world that is now working and learning from virtually anywhere. But the demands of this new era of productivity extend well beyond connectivity, requiring high-quality cameras and audio for clear and crisp virtual presence, AI to power natural collaborations, and enhanced security tools. That's why we've been working closely with Microsoft, Lenovo, HP, Acer, Samsung, and other industry leaders to create the 5G PC. With always-on connectivity, industry-leading camera and multimedia capabilities, and advanced AI architectures, the 5G PC delivers exceptional performance without sacrificing battery life. And with thin, quiet, and lightweight designs, the best of the smartphone truly comes to the PC. Qualcomm Snapdragon compute platforms are driving the always-connected PC experience. It's hard to believe it was only 4 years ago that we were at COMPUTEX sharing the details of our first Snapdragon compute prototype running Windows. It was our firm belief then that the smartphone experience was foundational to the PC experience people desired. The ability to pick up your laptop, open the lid, and know that it's connected, synced, and ready to go, without worrying about having a power cord or having to ask for a Wi-Fi password. Since that time, we've developed an industry-leading portfolio of compute solutions that brings the always connected PC experience to premium, mainstream, and entry-level mobile PCs. And we've set the bar again for premium always connected PC experiences with the Snapdragon 8CX Gen 2 5G compute platform. Just as our first generation 8CX compute platform delivers the best user experience at a fraction of the power consumption, our Gen 2 platform takes it even further. Using the Zoom video conferencing solution, you can talk and collaborate up to 2 times longer on a single charge versus users of competitor-based devices. And thanks to Qualcomm Quick Charge technology, you can get nearly 9 hours of usage from just 30 minutes of charging, compared to only 4 hours with competitor solutions. With speed and stability critical to productivity, 5G and Wi-Fi 6 provide ultra-fast and reliable connectivity. We've also brought cutting-edge camera and multimedia capabilities to the PC to deliver superior experiences in virtual communications and collaborations. Built-in artificial intelligence further strengthens remote working experiences through the integrated Qualcomm AI engine. The Snapdragon 8CX Gen 2 platform also provides enterprise-grade security, which is essential in a more connected world, along with support from Microsoft's Secured Core PC, making them the most secure Windows 10 devices out of the box. And integrated cellular connectivity eliminates the need for relying on unsecure public Wi-Fi networks when working remotely. Let's take a closer look at some of these features. Given the productivity needs of today's PC users, advanced camera and multimedia capabilities, as well as immersive graphics, have become essential for everyday work. This is where Snapdragon 8CX Gen 2 platform really shines, with cutting-edge capabilities and performance. Our Qualcomm Spectra ISP supports up to 4K HDR video streaming and capture, as well as rear and front-facing cameras up to 32 megapixels, to deliver significantly better video quality than most traditional laptop cameras. Integrated echo cancellation and noise suppression technologies support crystal clear audio, so coworkers on a video call can distinctly hear each other despite any distracting background noises. And for serious productivity, you can connect 2 4K displays with a single cable. AI is another area where the Snapdragon 8CX Gen 2 platform stands out from the competition. The dedicated Qualcomm AI engine takes advantage of our highly integrated architecture to enable new capabilities and experiences and help our OEM partners to create differentiated product offerings. From enhanced voice and gesture recognition to improved background blurring by intelligently compensating for movement, to more accurate drawing and handwriting recognition, AI is turning the always connected PC into a hub of mobile productivity. It's also enabling new levels of security with improved biometric authentication and malware threat detection. We're uniquely positioned to deliver this. You deserve the Snapdragon 8CX Gen 2. Looking ahead to future experiences enabled by AI, we'll have real-time translation capabilities when video conferencing, allowing you to talk and interact with colleagues and customers in other countries, regardless of whether you speak the same language. It will help improve our focus and efficiency by learning what distracts us based on context switching and make active suggestions to enhance productivity. Gaming experiences will be more immersive and realistic, and our devices will learn our preferences and find content relevant to our skill level and profile and make recommendations for downloading. We've yet to fully imagine the experiences with AI will bring. And while we continue to drive the premium always connected PC experience, we're also innovating to bring these premium experiences down to the entry-level PCs. We recently introduced the latest addition to our portfolio, the Snapdragon 7C Gen 2 compute platform, the follow-on to our very popular Snapdragon 7C. The 7C Gen 2 brings a number of premium features and capabilities that have been missing from most entry-level devices. Our 5th generation Qualcomm AI engine supports intelligent applications on device to enable the latest AI accelerated features, a first in this category. Earlier, I mentioned how the importance of video conferencing in our daily lives has driven the need for best-in-class camera and multimedia capabilities. This is true regardless of the price point, and the Snapdragon 7C Gen 2 delivers with high-quality video camera, virtual surround sound, echo cancellation, and noise suppression for superior audio and video experiences. We've also taken power efficiency to the next level, offering up to 2 times the battery life of competing platforms so you can do more on a single charge. To help you stay connected and ready to go, Snapdragon 7C Gen 2 powered devices are able to seamlessly switch between Wi-Fi and LTE connectivity, another segment first. And with this incredible power efficiency, you'll be able to stay in connected standby mode for weeks rather than days or hours. Laptops powered by the Snapdragon 7C Gen 2 will redefine mobile computing for education users, first-line workers, light enterprises, and everyday consumers. These solutions underscore our leadership in computing and how our unmatched portfolio of compute solutions continually redefines and elevates the always connected PC experience. I'm excited to have one of our closest partners and global leader in mobile computing join me today to tell you about their incredible new lineup of devices powered by Snapdragon compute platforms, which exemplify what it means to deliver the smartphone experience you love on your PC. Here to tell us more is Hassan Anjum, Director of Product Management for Samsung's new computing division.
Thanks, Alex. It's a pleasure to be here. Samsung prides itself on providing exceptional hardware and mobile experiences to meet the evolving needs of our consumers. One pillar of that is the idea of connectivity. The result, always on, always connected PCs from the Snapdragon 850-based Galaxy Book 2 to the very first Snapdragon 8cx system with the Galaxy Book S. And now we continue to deliver the kind of PC that consumers are asking for today, one with leading mobility, connectivity, and continuity. Over the last year, we've been listening closely to our users to understand exactly how they've been using their devices day to day. And here's what we're seeing. Our PCs have become the center of our daily routines. In the morning, we use them to check the news and catch up on email. Throughout the workday, we video chat with coworkers and loved ones. Maybe we take a break to sign in to a virtual exercise class. And then when we're off the clock, we use them to create, stream, and unwind. And with that shift, expectations have risen among today's mobile-first users. They value portability, connectivity, and convenience. Those qualities that have traditionally been associated with smartphones. In their PCs, they want seamless communication, sustained productivity, and immersive entertainment, all in one. And they want to do those things anywhere, anytime, without being held back by weak battery life or poor performance. In April, we unveiled our vision for the future of PCs, combining the power of a laptop with the connectivity and portability of a smartphone. And today, we're thrilled to be here with Qualcomm, announcing 2 new members of the Galaxy Book family, the Galaxy Book Go and the Galaxy Book Go 5G. Let's take a look. Consumers told us they wanted more compact devices with excellent battery life, anywhere connectivity, and seamless flow between them. And that's what they're getting with these devices. And here's what that means for you. Lightweight design that you can take anywhere, an ultra-slim display bezel so you can take advantage of 14-inch big screen viewing on the go. Also, long-lasting battery life so you don't have to build your schedule around outlet availability. With the help of our friends at Qualcomm, we're also bringing next-generation chipsets to the Galaxy Book Go series, designed with mobility in mind. With the Snapdragon 7C Gen 2 compute platform, Galaxy Book Go offers speedy LTE connection, mobile performance, and fanless design that runs cool and quiet. You don't see those premium features at this entry-tier price point. Until now. The Samsung Galaxy Book Go 5G model is powered by Qualcomm's premium Snapdragon 8cX Gen 2 5G compute platform, with an incredible mix of performance and power efficiency. Lightning fast 5G or Wi-Fi 6. Connectivity speed so you can unlock next generation connectivity on the go. But at Samsung, we don't want to just build powerful devices. We want them to work great together. With features like link to Windows, quick share, second screen, and easy Bluetooth connection, we're offering seamless flow of content across devices to elevate your productivity and entertainment. The Galaxy Book Go LTE version will be available in select markets starting June 10th. Galaxy Book Go Wi-Fi version will also be available starting June 10th in the US, along with Galaxy Book Go 5G later this year. We love these Galaxy Books, and we know you will too. And we're excited about what's still to come as we work with Qualcomm.
Thank you, Hassan. I cannot wait to start using these exciting new products powered by our Snapdragon compute platforms. And it's great to see premium features making their way into entry-level products. Much of our success in driving premium mobile innovations to the PC has come as a result of strong collaborations with our Taiwanese OEM and ODM partners. Here to talk about their growing portfolio of Windows and Chromebook devices powered by Snapdragon compute platforms is one of our truly valued computing partners, Acer.
Alex, thank you for having me. Qualcomm and Acer have very strong collaboration to drive the future of computing. Working with Qualcomm technologies, Acer has built beautiful always connected Windows 10 PCs and Chromebooks with Snapdragon computing platforms across the portfolio at the price points. Together, we launched the Acer Spin 7, a 5G-enabled Windows 10 laptop powered by the Snapdragon 8cX Gen 2 5G platform. And Acer's lineup of ultra-portables, including the Acer's Chromebook Spin 513, and the design for education, the new Acer Chromebook 511, both powered by the Snapdragon 7C platform. One of the new additions to Acer's portfolio is Acer Aspire One, based on the Snapdragon 7C platform. This Snapdragon-powered Windows laptop is upgrading the entry PC with a perfect balance, performance, and battery life. This lightning-fast connectivity so you can seamlessly switch between Wi-Fi and LTE and connect securely on the go. With advanced audio capability, great for the video conferencing. It will truly deliver great user experience and enable productivity and entertainment from anywhere. We look forward to working with Qualcomm to expand our portfolio with Snapdragon and more. Thank you.
Thank you. Acer has an incredible portfolio of devices powered by Snapdragon compute platforms, and we look forward to collaborating with Acer new Windows and Chromebook devices using our compute solutions. I'm really excited about the number of products launching based on our Snapdragon compute platforms. I'm also excited about the great app experiences available today on Windows, on Snapdragon devices, along with the growing number of apps that will take advantage of the performance and efficiency of Snapdragon compute, including Zoom, Adobe Photoshop, Microsoft Teams, and Chromium Edge browser, as well as leading security solutions from Sophos, WatchGuard, ESET, OpenText, and Symantec. With our new Snapdragon Developer Kit, we're helping to accelerate the development of even more apps by making it easier to test applications for use on Windows on Snapdragon devices. As we work to accelerate the apps ecosystem, we continue to drive advancements in connectivity to extend the reach and performance of the 5G PC. To accelerate the adoption of 5G in mobile broadband devices, we recently announced 2 reference designs for 5G PC cards. Based on our Snapdragon X65 and X62 5G modem RF systems, these solutions will allow module manufacturers to quickly and cost-effectively develop new consumer-friendly data card modules for use in PCs and laptops, including always connected PCs, as well as CPEs, XR, and gaming devices, and more. And the popular M.2 form factor makes it easier for users to add the power of 5G to their devices. One technology that's essential to unlocking the full potential of 5G and the future of computing experience is millimeter wave. With support for multi-gigabit data rates, massive capacity, and cost savings that were all part of the initial promise of 5G, the benefits of millimeter wave have never been clearer. Think for a moment about the capacity needs of dense urban environments. As operators assess the cost of building out capacity in these data-intensive environments, they may question the cost-effectiveness of deploying millimeter wave technology. But an analysis by GSMA Intelligence revealed surprising news. In places where capacity needs are high, a system with millimeter wave and mid-band spectrum has lower total cost of ownership than mid-band alone. This includes new deployment options like fixed wireless access for indoor millimeter wave systems. And the momentum continues to grow, with commercial networks now in Italy, Japan, Singapore, and the US. Currently, more than 170 operators are investing in millimeter wave technology. In China, our joint work with China Unicom on the millimeter wave zone at the Mobile World Congress Shanghai in March underscores the significant attention to millimeter wave in preparation for rollout ahead of the Winter Olympics. This involved live 5G millimeter wave connectivity between a ZTE network and devices based on our Snapdragon modem RF system, with participation from OEMs such as Vivo, ZTE, TCL, and OnePlus, as well as various module OEMs. Millimeter wave is also being used to help bridge the digital divide in areas such as rural communities with fixed wireless access, providing fast, reliable broadband connectivity so students can use their PCs to access school portals and other important educational resources. As we look out over the next 2 to 3 years, we expect millimeter wave to be deployed or licensed across all regions. Millimeter wave is an integral part of our Snapdragon 5G modem RF systems. As the industry's first end-to-end modem-to-antenna solutions, our 5G systems have continually pushed the boundaries of performance. This tradition continues with our latest modem RF system, the Snapdragon X65, the world's first 10 gigabit per second 5G. It's designed to make the best possible use of available spectrum for the ultimate in-network flexibility, capacity, and coverage. As the first 3GPP Release 16 compatible modem, and with a software upgradable architecture, it gives us the ability to add new features to make our best modem RF system even better. As we continue to drive the multi-gigabit experience on 5G, we're doing the same with Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi has long been complementary to cellular technology, and this relationship continues into the 5G era with Wi-Fi 6. Our Qualcomm Fast Connect Wi-Fi 6 solutions are designed to deliver blazing fast speeds and massive capacity on PCs, smartphones, and other mobile broadband devices. We're also driving the evolution to Wi-Fi 6E, which extends the power of Wi-Fi 6 into the 6 gigahertz band for even greater capacity and performance. All this translates to better connected experiences for consumers and business users. But enabling tomorrow's highly immersive AI-driven experiences will require more than just fast connectivity. They will also require significant increases in compute capabilities. Today's Snapdragon platforms deliver exceptional processing performance across CPU, GPU, and DSP. To further enhance the CPU performance of these platforms to meet the demands of next-generation experiences, we recently completed the acquisition of Nuvia. The acquisition of Nuvia builds upon our Snapdragon technology leadership, enabling us to deliver enhancements in CPU performance and power efficiency, and adds further depth to our CPU roadmap, helping to extend our leading technology position across the Windows, Android, and Chrome OS ecosystems. We intend to integrate these next-generation CPUs across a wide portfolio of products, ranging from flagship smartphones to digital cockpits to networking solutions. But the first Snapdragon platforms to feature them will be designed for high-performance, ultra-portable laptops that are expected to sample in the second half of 2022. I can't wait to see them. There's another big computing transition that's coming, and it's one I'm very excited about: extended reality, or XR. XR is made up of virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality devices and services. The evolution to spatial computing will create faster, smoother, and more immersive experiences. We call it 5G boundless XR because we believe there's no limit to how it will change the way we see and interact with the world around us. 5G VR-based headsets will provide the highest level of immersion with full 360-degree views, vivid sound, and high-resolution video, enabling us to send kids on virtual field trips to enrich their learning, take immersive tours of homes, revolutionize the way industrial work is done, travel to exotic locations, and so much more. 5G AR-based glasses will enable real-time translations of everything from signs to menus to business cards, helping travelers quickly acclimate to a foreign location. Interactions like these require high throughput and data speeds. Plus, they need super low latency. 5G has made that a reality. Whether it's VR-based headsets or AR-based glasses, Qualcomm Technologies is supplying the ecosystem with solutions that support innovations like these. We're powering leading XR platform systems with more than 40 commercial devices launched based on our solutions. It is our collaboration with the ecosystem that make these advancements and opportunities possible. Through continuous and significant investments in R&D, we're committed to pushing the boundaries of what's possible with 5G and to provide our customers with the most comprehensive solutions that reduce complexity and help them innovate and grow globally. By driving technology trends across mobile, compute, XR, and more, we're providing the foundation to catalyze exciting new opportunities and further innovation. We look forward to continued collaboration with companies across the ecosystem and accelerate the future of always connected PC. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Everyone, I'm Mike Young, President of QCT. I'm very honored to have this opportunity to share our 5G observations, experiences, and solutions with you today for 2021 COMPUTEX Forum. First of all, there has been a great convergence of information technology and the communications technology over the years. We've all experienced that, as we all now carry a mobile device in our pockets wherever we go. There were three waves, namely digital, internet, and the convergence, that have brought us to where we are today. The first wave was digital, analog to digital, and it was the first move from 1G to 2G. You might think of converting music of a record or a cassette or a video from a VHS tape as examples. But more importantly, for communication technology, digitizing analog signals made it easier to manipulate and transport, which is why it was adopted exclusively for wireless. Then, when the advanced mobile phone system went digital and the GSM arrived, it meant calls between people were not limited to specific area or to wired protocols. They could be met at any time and from anywhere, and that included SMS. The second wave was the internet. In addition to the voice capabilities of 2G, the more important thing in later years was not only having audio, but also video to go with mobile internet on 3G networks. With GSM and CDMA coexisting, people wanted higher definition mobile TV and video conferencing. And it was at this time that digital data, originally stored locally, would eventually be connected to the cloud. Then 3G transitioning to 4G networks happened as the cloud industry was maturing. Music moved to the platforms like iTunes or Spotify, and the movie were streamed on Netflix or Hulu. The third generation convergence is happening now, and we will see even lower latency, wider bandwidth, and faster upload and download speeds. The number of connected people increased, and specialized applications for consumers gradually start to be developed. This development happened in the cloud, and that's where companies like Quanta and QCT, early investors in the cloud computing field, could continue to develop solutions to fit these trends. Now, with 5G, we are starting to see new light. And over the horizon, applications we can imagine will change the way we live as networks become faster, smarter, and more agile to handle. More data as more devices become connected. An innovative 5G infrastructure will set the stage for those new services and cloud applications. And there will be an industry of new players that provide important elements to help drive this transformation and build 5G networks that are open, virtualized, cloud-native, software-defined. Open, so that major operators worldwide pioneering new technologies and use cases can collaborate with each other. Virtualized, so individual services with different performance requirements share the same infrastructure. Cloud native, so functions can be scaled independently and optimized with respect to available bandwidth capacity and the latency requirements. Software-defined, to decouple the infrastructure of wireless networks from expensive closed hardware and shift it to an intelligent software layer running on commodity hardware. Last but not least, an innovative 5G infrastructure covers everything from end to end, meaning from the edge to the network all the way to the cloud. With the convergence of IT and CT, we've already seen a broad ecosystem of new entrants in this 5G space, significantly disrupting the decades-old telecommunication industry. Some players are evolving their strategy and driving mergers and acquisitions to enter a new market of merchant silicon, such as Intel, AMD, and NVIDIA. Others like QCT, a cloud enabler, and the software startups like Mavenir, Altiostar, Parallel Wireless, are collaborating for their 5G product development, moving toward open hardware, virtualized, cloud-native, and software-defined to deliver applications much faster and in cost-effective way. Hyperscalers are leading new value creation in 5G age by integrating their platform and applications in telco environments to deliver innovative solutions to customers. Some through strategic partnerships and the others through investments to acquire capabilities to develop telco-specific software workloads and applications. Telco won't just be mere connectivity service providers in the 5G space. They will step out of the box to deliver applications through agile and programmable open networks, either through in-house 5G product development or partnerships through the digital marketplace. Some examples of these are Rakuten, Deutsche Telekom, Orange, Telefonica, Vodafone, and Telecom Italia. And with these new entrants also comes open communities that are also driving standards and further collaborations to dissolve proprietary barriers and vendor locking. Communities like ORAN, Open RAN Policy Coalition, and the Telecom Infra Project. Companies that I just mentioned and the QCT are all actively engaged and contributing efforts. Here, I'd like to give you a perfect example of how an innovative 5G infrastructure was built based on what I talked about earlier. As you may already know, QCT previously partnered with Rakuten Mobile and helped them build the world's first cloud-native 5G-enabled mobile network. Even though it started with 4G LTE, it was seamlessly upgraded to 5G within 5 months, a real incredible feat. This 5G-enabled mobile network project took less than 1 year to accomplish, and for traditional operators, this would have taken years to achieve. Speed was the key success factor, and that was the reason why Rakuten chose QCT and a handful of leading software and hardware partners to put things together, including system design, testing, and validation, up to their final deployment. By standardizing on a single custom-built hardware platform, Rakuten Mobile was able to reduce the complexity of its network, simplifying the VNF integration process and improving its ability to automate, manage, and troubleshoot the environment. Telco operators normally maintain infrastructure with hundreds of different configurations. With QCT, Rakuten Mobile used less than 10 configurations in total, and only four configurations for network edge side. In that short amount of time, our partners customized a system designed to fulfill Rakuten's cloud-native mobile workloads, which are now running at thousands of sites across Japan. Most importantly, with our solution integration knowledge that we built up over the years, we were able to discuss configuration, optimization, and workload integrations with other software partners Therefore, we are honored to be a part of Rakuten's innovation in the telco industry. Rakuten, in return, created the world's first end-to-end cloud-native architecture. This disruption in the telco industry started to redefine how mobile telco networks are designed, built, and operated. It also brought a significant reduction in CAPEX and OPEX due to virtualization, automation, and its open architecture. And with these significant cost savings, Rakuten could offer very competitive pricing scheme to its mobile service subscribers. Let me give you another example where the great convergence happened. Let's take ourselves and a long-term silicon partner, Intel, as an example. The previous Rakuten Mobile example was powered by Intel Xeon Scalable processors. And with their third generation Intel Xeon Scalable processors, we were able to provide even better network optimized system that offer up to 50% more performance optimization, larger bandwidth transmission, and more flexibility and possibility for data center networks. At the same time, Intel also launched their N-SKU and the T-SKU series of processors. Both are new to market, N for NFV and the T, which is especially designed NAPS-friendly to help control the overall thermal temperature of the system. The two SKUs are dedicated to 5G workloads to create the most suitable network solutions according to different customer needs. Based on those innovations, QCT has developed solutions and server design featuring these two series of CPU processors to build new networks with the intention of optimizing network performance. It is important to know that this isn't just from the hardware side either. QCT and Intel have spared no effort on investing in 5G end-to-end solutions. With Intel Select Solutions, QCT has joined their CDN, NFVI forwarding, FlexRAN, and other network-related projects. We have also cooperated with many software platform vendors, such as Robin.io, Red Hat, and Wind River, to develop our own ecosystem of NFV solutions. In cooperation with Intel's professional technical team and their builders network team, we are able to focus on integration and optimization as an infrastructure solution provider to provide customers with reliable, scalable, and more flexible third-generation Xeon Scalable processors network solutions. Now, let me get back to our own experiences cooperating with different industries and how we saw potential new opportunities in other 5G businesses. Like enterprise private networks, which some people call local 5G or private 5G. Enterprise private 5G operates independently and is used for specific purpose. It is not only different from a large-scale commercial network, but it can also provide 5G communication characteristics to applications such as artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things. Because the 5G era is accompanied by a huge increase in the demand for enterprise vertical market, there are much higher requirements for network coverage, latency, and security than the consumer market. The basic requirements for these vertical functions are the features emphasized by 5G. And the root of these features is the software-defined everything. Through software stacking, similar to a game of Tetris, the application scenarios required by enterprises could be assembled in real time, and the service can be provided in real time. After all, we see 5G private network as a key driver for digital transformation. But you can win every game of Tetris, and the Rome wasn't built in a day. We had to do a lot of market research to develop our enterprise 5G solution, and also help enterprise customers pave the road to their private 5G networks. As it's a green field that very few have dealt with. In that process itself, we talked to a lot of companies about their views on 5G. And what we found was that there were three main demands. First, that the data and the information needs to be controlled independently for a high level of security. Second, the quality and reliability of communication has to be maintained to a standard level. That way, if there's a problem, personnel can be alerted to deal with it in a timely fashion. Lastly, the bandwidth or performance of 5G communication needs to be adjusted according to different applications. What that means is companies that were hoping to buy a set of 5G equipment, which is completely software and hardware integrated, can customize to the changes in their applications and be independently controlled without affecting business operations when problems occur. And that's where new vendors like QCT could come in and help. So, based on these market requirements and the expectations, QCT designed an end-to-end private 5G solution that includes 5G core and 5G RAN. We believe this solution stack can serve as a reference architecture for enterprises to jumpstart 5G deployments. QCT not only provides the hardware infrastructure all the way from core network, BBU, front-haul gateway, to RRU, but we also develop our own software to ensure real end-to-end integration and validation. And for different applications, we then look for more ecosystem partners, engagements, and collaborations. For enterprise requirements, we saw there would be more uplink-driven applications, since on-site data will need to be uploaded, transferred, and analyzed in real time. Hence, QCT Enterprise 5G has designed 3 uplink, downlink configurations to comply with actual customer requirement, giving more 5G flexibility for different use cases. For other user scenarios, the private 5G network coverage may need to be flexibly adjusted. Under a one-cell scenario for most enterprise use cases, the coverage and the capacity dimensioning can be varied by different RRU configurations. In this slide, you can see that the number of RRUs can be increased from 1 to 4, depending on the size of the deployment to cover larger areas. Unlike operators, enterprise customers are experienced in maintaining the end-to-end network infrastructure on their own. They actually need a management platform. Therefore, QCT built up an easy-to-manage operation and the management tool for our enterprise customers. Through this user-friendly user interface, it can help lower the technical entry barrier and let customers focus more on application side and less on infrastructure maintenance. It also accomplished the role of maintaining the reliability and the quality of communication, which was one of the demands in our own survey earlier. Here is an interesting case I'll share with you that we're doing POC in our smart factory. You can see the pain points we are addressing here are inconvenience of using a wired network, worker safety, and production line shutdown loss. When discussing the application scenario of intelligent images with the factory, we found that the AI should be applied to each of the 55 IP camera units to create a smart wireless fencing zone to prevent accidents and the production line shutdown for a long period of time. However, it would be costly to apply all IP cameras with AI capabilities to cover the entire scope of factory floor. Therefore, we provided another solution with an AI-enabled universal CPE to receive images from IP cameras and centralize the image processing for object detection. Also, one AI universal CPE could be used with multiple lower-cost IP cameras, utilizing Wi-Fi rather than a wired network. While some AI functions were carried out through the AI universal CPE box in the middle, for more intensive processing, like a facial recognition, it could be done through the edge server on the far right. And in this diagram, you can see images are collectively processed and returned from those sites. Through this process, accurate AI recognition can send data back to the core network and the edge server through 5G signals for processing. In other words, we divided the factory's intelligent AI into multi-layers, which was done on terminal equipment, such as IP cams, in relay stations, such as universal CPE, or back to the central system, where the edge server is. This multi-layer option was configured based on the cost and the application of the enterprise itself. This can be adjusted. However, it needs to be properly configured. The enterprise 5G equipment here not only provides the bandwidth and the communication requirements for the pain points we needed to address, but it also considered the architecture configurations of the actual application scenarios, and thus assist the industry to introduce enterprise 5G in the most cost-effective manner. If you have ever seen an iceberg, most of the time, you only get to see the top or the white part made of compressed snow. But underneath, there's a deep blue underbelly. And that's here that QCT has been built up a foundation for 5G. You can see from this diagram that 95% of our 5G iceberg, which is submerged in the water, is due to cooperation. What we have been doing is gradually integrating through our efforts with our partners. The integration included the application and the platform, the hardware and the components, and an open business ecosystem mindset. And what's left at the top is a 5G end-to-end solution in which emerging partners need only to add your software to test, as we've taken care of all the rest. And that's the beauty of a broad ecosystem. In our 5G ecosystem, throughout the years, we've applied our strong infrastructure capabilities, and we have been doing this very well for the past decade. However, it is through our investments, like our 5G telecom laboratory, that we have also built it in-house to provide a professional infrastructure with test equipment to our partners. We made this investment so that software and the open source community partners and the system integrators all over the world can develop and test complete solution to get them on that iceberg we just saw. Through this process, not only can we provide all the strengths we just talked about underneath the iceberg, but we can also jointly create innovative and a profitable solution with our partners. Finally, I leave you with this thought. Let's embrace this golden opportunity together. In this great convergence era, and with a broad ecosystem, have a great COMPUTEX. And for more information, please visit www.qct.io. Thank you.
First, I would like to thank COMPUTEX for giving me this opportunity to introduce what is compound semiconductors and how compound semiconductors can shape our future lives. 3-5 compound semiconductors consist at least one element from group 3 in the periodic table and one element from group 5. They chemically react with each other and forming a compound. Gallium arsenide is the most representative compound semiconductor. Gallium nitride is the other. Indium phosphide is another one. And these are the three basic compound semiconductor materials. For integrated circuit applications, compound semiconductors has the advantage as high speed. It can run theoretically 5 to 6 times faster than silicon's counterpart. The second advantage of using compound semiconductor is that for most of them, they are able to emit lights, which silicon cannot. And they also absorb light more efficiently than silicon. And it provides a very wide frequency wavelength spectrums from infrared, visible light, all the way to UV light. Depending on the applications you design for, you can carefully choose the right material and the concentration of each element for the wavelengths you designed for. Okay, and actually compound semiconductors is around our daily life. For example, in smartphone, compound semiconductors is inside as the power amplifier to transmit very fast and complicated signals to the base station. And also the Wi-Fi router has a compound semiconductor parts, and inside the optical fibers, compound semiconductor act as the light emitting source and interface IC. And also in display, compound semiconductor act as the backlighting. And the compound semiconductors are also in satellite, base station, and radar. Next, I'm going to take a few minutes to give you an overview on the key milestones which has been achieved by compound semiconductor in the past. Starting from the first transistor, which was invented in 1940s at Bell Laboratories by these three very famous scientists. The first transistor was germanium-based. It's not silicon, it's not compound semiconductor either. In 1960s, the first LED was demonstrated using gallium arsenide for red LED. And the early 3.5 transistor was actively developed and materialized between 1960 to 1980s. MACFET was the first, the initial 3.5 transistor, which later on evolved into PHEM, which is used for today's high frequency, for example, in millimeter wave or microwave integrated circuits. HBT is the kind of a bipolar transistor, which is used in today's smartphone power amplifiers. Okay, and the first vertical cavity surface emitting lasers was invented in 1980s by Professor Iga, and VCSEL now is used as the light source for data communication, and it also has been widely used as a 3D sensing device. Believe it or not, gallium arsenide has supercomputer between late 1980s to 1990s. It demonstrates processing speed around 3 times faster than silicon. And the project was not successful, partly because it consumed too much power. The first blue LED was demonstrated in 1990s. This was a very important milestone because by then, all the 3 primary colors of light becomes available: red, green, and blue. And essentially, all the colors becomes available for display. And based on the same technology foundation, white light LED becomes later developed and rapidly replace existing traditional light, which save enormous amount of energy for the world. Mobile phone was the first consumer product which brought gallium arsenide IC into true volume production. And even now, we estimate still around 50% of gallium arsenide ICs was used for smartphone. Compound semiconductors are widely used in satellite communication in both space and the ground terminals for transmitting and receiving signal purpose. Compound semiconductors certainly help to make satellite commercialized possible. In 2017, iPhone for the first time introduced Face ID product using VCSEL as the light source for 3D sensing device. And this was the first time in the world gallium arsenide VCSEL was in true volume production on 6-inch gallium arsenide wafer at Win Semiconductors. 5G smartphone contains a lot more compound semiconductor contents simply because there are newly created frequency band for 5G and therefore needs a more gallium arsenide power amplifier inside per phone. This year, Mini LED was introduced as the backlighting for flagship tablet as the display. This certainly brings the display technology to the next level. We believe in the coming few years, maybe micro LED will come out and further advance the display technology. It's worth to mention that today, the world's fastest transistor is done by compound semiconductor with frequency response greater than 1 terahertz, which is 1,000 gigahertz, incredibly fast. Next, let's watch a short video on how future life might look like.
Wireless communications connect our lives at increasing speed. Compound semiconductors enable wireless connectivity and make possible a new generation of image sensing. It not only contributes to the rapid evolution of society, but also expands the public's vision of the future. Technology evolves to provide a more productive lifestyle and benefits from the advantage of compound semiconductors.
Okay, from the video, we see the ubiquitous access of internet has become a lifestyle. We expect to live in a safer and a more secure life with environmental friendly green energies. These lifestyles translate into enabling technologies which must be able to provide seamless connectivity and smart sensing devices to keep our life safe and secured. We also need power-efficient devices to be environmental friendly. Let's see how compound semiconductors are able to contribute on each aspect. Starting from smart sensing devices. There are 3 types light sources for 3D sensing technology: LED, VCSEL, and edge-emitting lasers. Each has their own advantages over the other 2. VCSEL is the most widely used light source today, however. There are 2 depth sensing methods: structural light and time of flight. Time of flight is more intuitive by measuring the flying time and the phase shift of reflected light to determine the distance. As to structural light, what it does is to project a predefined dot patterns onto the object. By measuring the patterns, distortion, and through the complicated calculations, we are able to determine the object's 3D profile pretty accurately. 3D sensing technology is used for facial recognitions in situations that high security authentication is required, such as mobile payment, unmanned store payment, home and office access. It can also be used to monitor and control traffic or crime prevention purpose in smart city scenario. Besides facial recognition, other biometric applications such as heart rate and blood oxygen level detection on wearable devices becomes very useful to monitor personal health condition. And eye tracking and the under-screen fingerprint are another two examples among many others. AR is an emerging application for 3D sensing. It helps to provide a better immersive experience for AR. It has been used in shopping, entertainment, education, training, and medical treatment. And it is expected to be adopted by wearable devices in the future. Automotive is probably the most attractive application for 3D sensing technology. LiDAR is a kind of 3D sensing devices for automobile to assist the driver for safe navigation and collision avoidance. Ultimately, we believe LiDAR will be used in autonomous car in years to come. The initial use cases include unmanned last mile delivery and robot taxi, self-driving bus, and the picture in the center shows the Taiwan's first self-driving bus launched this year, running on normal road in daytime. And the driver monitoring system, DMS, provides a real-time evaluation of the driver's status to ensure the driver is in a good condition for driving by detecting, for example, if the driver's eyes are closed or if the driver is falling asleep by nodding his head and provide a warning to the driver. 3D sensing devices serve as a function of machines and robots' eyes. It helps to provide rapid and accurate positional information for robots, which makes factory automation a lot more efficient and largely increase productivity. Now we switch gear to the second aspect, power and efficiency. During the course of advanced technology to improve humans' life, frequently it consumes more energy when using new technology. However, which contradicts to the green energy vision. Let's see how compound semiconductors can help to address this dilemma. Gallium nitride and the silicon carbide are a class of compound semiconductors with so-called wide bandgap semiconductor, which has a unique material properties for high power and high efficiency applications due to their high breakdown field, which makes them ideal for high voltage and high power applications. Silicon carbide has extremely good thermal conductivity, which is helpful to dissipate generated heat during operation. Therefore, power efficiency can be greatly improved using silicon carbide. High electron velocity makes both gallium nitride and the silicon carbide ideal materials for high frequency and fast switching power applications. It greatly reduces the energy loss during power conversion. This page shows the applications for gallium nitride and the silicon carbide. For power conversion applications, both gallium nitride and the silicon carbide have been adopted in electrical cars, data center servers, and fast charging adapters. Gallium nitride devices are used for 5G base station, power amplifiers, communication satellite, and even defense applications. Refrigerators, air conditioners, TV, and illuminations are the top 4 most energy-consuming household appliances. Collectively, they consume around 50% of household electricity. Compound semiconductor devices help to greatly reduce energy loss. For example, using compound semiconductor power inverters, the energy loss can be reduced more than 80% for refrigerators and air conditioners. LED is able to reduce the electricity consumption if used as the backlight for TV and to replace conventional incandescent lamps. Together with electrical vehicle and the data center, etc. applications, using compound semiconductor devices is able to save tens of nuclear power plants worldwide. This is an incredible amount of energy being saved. Okay, this diagram shows output power versus operating frequency plot for various power conversion applications. For highest power applications, silicon carbide is the technology of choice. As for high operating frequency applications, then gallium nitride is the best candidate. Electrical vehicle falls in the middle between silicon carbide and the gallium nitride. Currently, silicon carbide is still the dominating technology. Gallium nitride could catch up in the future when technology becomes more mature. Okay. There are still many technology challenges for gallium nitride, ranging from substrate to epitaxial material processing, reliability, to packaging. Due to limited time, we are not going into detail on each here. The third aspect is ubiquitous internet access. Ubiquitous internet access has become a vision and a must for modern lifestyle. We want to be able to access internet anytime, anywhere. And compound semiconductors can certainly help to realize this vision. This page shows examples that compound semiconductor devices are used in all the networks pervasively, including satellite internet access, 5G optical access, and the 5G radio access, where compound semiconductor has its role in the forms of high-frequency amplifier, low-noise amplifier, light-emitting source, light-receiving device, and the photonics integrated circuits. 5G is becoming the network to connect everyone and everything. It contains three important features. The first one is high reliability with low latency. Enhanced mobile broadband is the second, and massive IoT is the third. In terms of frequency spectrum, 5G needs a millimeter wave frequency, which is around 30 gigahertz or above, to provide large bandwidth for high data rate transmission. However, the coverage is very limited. At the same time, 5G also needs lower frequency bands, which we refer as sub-6 gigahertz, to support wide coverage. Both millimeter wave and sub-6 gigahertz are required to make a 5G network complete. This page shows several 5G use cases where the features described in the last slide are required. For example, in a sports stadium powered by 5G networks, many cameras can be installed around the stadium. No matter where you sit, you are able to see any player from any angle with a high fidelity image, real time. This is every seat is the best seat user experience. The user experience can be further enriched by merging with the AR and the VR technology. And the V2X is a good example to use all the 5G features, low latency, high capacity, and the machine-to-machine type of communications. Through vehicle-to-vehicle communication, our own car can see using the surrounding vehicle as its own eyes. Telemedicine is another 5G use case, for example. How to increase data transmission capacity? We can certainly use a higher order modulation signal to increase the bits per second, and using higher frequency as a spectrum where a much wider bandwidth is available. And multiple access techniques can effectively to multiply data transmission capacity. And installing more small base station is able to increase the network capacity per area. This is another approach. Previous page shows the system-level approaches to increase data transmission capacity. But down to semiconductor device level, the challenges are translated into high-performance transistor technology is required in order to operate at high frequency. Higher linearity performance is required to amplify higher order modulation signal, and higher operating voltage is needed to transmit more power for longer range. And improved power efficiency is constantly required to reduce power consumption, particularly for power amplifier. This slide provides a plot of output power versus operating frequency for RF applications for various device technology and the associated applications. There's no one single technology is good for every applications. Therefore, right device technology has to be carefully chosen for the targeted application. High frequency and high power are of different challenges. The greatest challenge is for application toward the upper right corner of the chart. Compound semiconductor device technology is the best solution in this category. Okay. It is believed the future life will be connected by massive intelligent devices through the fusion of 6G, Super IoT, and AI to achieve the ubiquitous AI access as the vision. In addition, the boundary between real and the digital world is getting blurred. For example, 3D hologram potentially can be the next generation display technology and the user interface. It can be further merged with the ideal so-called digital twin that we are able to real-time interact, for example, with our colleagues, with our friends and families as they are personally in front of you without constraint by space. This is like sci-fi movie or Star Trek scene in real life. Telesurgery with hologram user interface is another use case example. There are many other proposed by companies, universities, and organizations as potential 6G services. All of these new services require extremely high data transmission connectivity and a massive amount of smart sensor devices, as well as a supercomputing power seamlessly integrated together to achieve the goal. Moving towards 6G, according to Cisco's VINI index, global mobile data traffic grew at a compound annual growth rate of 46% in the past 5 years. If we extrapolate using the same rate, 10 years from now, the mobile data traffic will be 44 times of today's data traffic. This implied an unprecedented stringent performance requirement is needed for next generation network. For example, in order to achieve the hologram display user interface mentioned in the previous slide, it needs probably greater than 100 gigabit per second ultra-fast data transmission electronics to realize. Therefore, sub-terahertz device might be needed to provide sufficient bandwidth. In conclusion, we have shown compound semiconductors played a pivotal role to drive innovations to advance our future life. It is believed we are still in an initial stage for another disruptive growth on compound semiconductors. This is driven by innovative emerging applications which require enormous frequency bandwidth and high-performance smart sensors. These are exactly the strengths of compound semiconductor, and it is expected compound semiconductor is going to play an increasingly important role in our future life. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my session. I am Erdal Elver. I am representing Siemens, the leading German technology company in industrial digital solutions, smart infrastructure, and smart mobility. At Siemens, we focus on technologies that transform our customers' industries and solve the world's most pressing issues. That is what we call technology with purpose to transform the everyday. In the following, I will focus on some core technologies, especially those industrial 5G, grid edge, and connected mobility with some business examples. What are the world's most pressing issues? They are coming with the 5 megatrends. The megatrends, they are changing our world and challenging us. And at Siemens, we want to shape this change and address with our technologies the challenges coming through the megatrends. Climate change, for example. Forest fires, floods at an unprecedented scale shows how urgently we need to address the climate change. Growing economic development, as we did in the past, where we are, in fact, utilizing all the world's resources, we cannot continue on this. We have to do it in a more sustainable way. And we have to do it with using less. And this can be done through technologies which can help us to optimize our processes and reduce CO2 emissions. Globalization, the next megatrend. And this is also changing because focus is more on localization. That is also what we call glocalization. And in the past, we have put the biggest production plants at the place with the lower cost. This is changing as we have seen through the recent pandemics, especially the supply chain are now very vulnerable. With technologies like 3D printing, digitalization, or automated manufacturing, we can manufacture products with smaller scale, more closer to the markets where we need them. Digitalization is the next mega trend. In fact, it is accelerated through the recent pandemic, and it will change the boundaries. It will blur the boundaries. New business models will increase, and also we will work in ecosystem across boundaries. Companies who can change their processes, business models will survive. Again, the key is here, adapt our businesses and provide digital solutions to our customers. Demographic change, well, it is continuing. Our world population is aging despite the lower birth rates, because we are having higher life expectancies, and this is also needs to be addressed through different technologies. More and more people are now looking for jobs and seeking opportunities in cities. So the urbanization is also continuing and also creating challenges to the city infrastructure. And here also we need to provide solutions to the city infrastructure where we can run things in a more optimized way with less CO2 emissions, with higher quality of life. So all this, again, cannot be solved with the old way solutions. We have to find new ways and utilize technologies to address those challenges. And that is what we say, the world is changing, which is much more real than ever before. And the challenges coming through, like pandemics and crises, are in fact forcing us to optimize things, to do things in a more flexible way. And we say this can only be done through technologies, and especially through digitalization. And in this context, it's also important to say, combining the real world with the virtual world, creating digital twins, is one of the key solutions which will help us to address the challenges coming. So in the future, we will have intelligent manufacturing, intelligent energy management systems, intelligent buildings, intelligent grids, which will help us, again, to address the challenges I have just addressed. Once again, technologies are the key to address the world's most pressing issues, and that is also what we say, transform the everyday through technologies. At Siemens, we focus all our energies to stay competitive in all the markets we serve, today and tomorrow. And we believe the core technologies are the key to address the challenges, again, coming through the megatrends as I have just introduced. And those core technologies are, for example, additive manufacturing, autonomous robots, connected mobility, cybersecurity, and many more, as we can see on the slide. In the following, I will focus on those three areas: connected mobility, distributed energy systems, and future of automation. Those technologies are, in fact, critical technologies transforming the key industries, like industry, infrastructure, and mobility. And industrial 5G, I will give some examples in the industrial sector, grid edge in energy management, energy systems, and also connected mobility in the area of mobility. Let's start with the first one. Industry 4.0, industrial Internet of Things, smart manufacturing, smart mobility, those are the future of manufacturing. In order to design, produce, manufacture products, production plants, intralogistics, we need proper communication framework and also connectivity. And industrial 5G is the answer for those challenges, which can help us to do things in a better way and also help us to implement the Industry 4.0 technologies. Because through 5G, we have a higher bandwidth, which is helping us to send and receive data in a higher bandwidth. According to first estimations, it can have the speed up to 10 gigabit per second, which is 10 times more than 4G technology, and with lower latency and higher reliability. And also we can connect much more devices and participants in this system. So as we see on the slide, at Siemens, we're working on those technologies to provide our customers, and with this, again, implement the Industry 4.0 technologies and run the industrial manufacturing operations in a better way. What we can all do, there are a lot of opportunities and lots of areas which we can address by the applications with Industrial 5G. Again, using 5G connectivity, we can design products and production plants in a more efficient way through simulation, through augmented reality tools, through autonomous machines and autonomous logistics, and also providing solutions to the edge machines. So those are just some examples what we can all do with the Industrial 5G. And at Siemens, we have already started with the first application. And this is a project which we are doing together with our partner Qualcomm. And this is in our automotive test center in Nuremberg, where we have set up pilot plant to show what possibilities we have with the 5G and demonstrate what is all possible. I'd like to share with you a short clip to introduce what we can all do, respectively, what we did in our plant in Nuremberg. Let's watch the short clip.
How will 5G change the industry of tomorrow? That's what we will find out today at our automotive test center. Oh look, there's the action. That's 5G at work. It will be able to provide reliability as high as 99.999% with a sub-10 millisecond latency. Data speeds 10 times higher than today's 4G and a connection density as high as 1 million connected devices per square kilometer. It's all being tested right here in our industrial 5G proof of concept. To be more precise, in the first private standalone 5G network in an industrial environment using the 3.7 GHz frequency band. Here's one of the future applications we're testing, the operation of automated guided vehicles, AGVs equipped with a 5G modem. All signals are processed in real time. Thanks to seamless connectivity, the AGVs can communicate while on the move and react to any unforeseen situations. And now, take a look at the heart of this private standalone 5G test network, equipped with Qualcomm 5G technology. And operated with Simatic automation equipment and C-Move fleet control from Siemens. Siemens and Qualcomm technologies are working together to pioneer future solutions for industry with 5G. We've achieved the first milestone on the path to connected production, maintenance and logistics. That's the future, and we're serious about it. Very serious.
Siemens, ingenuity for life.
In the following, I would like to talk about the changing energy systems and especially the role of the grid edge. Our energy systems are changing dramatically, and this change is mostly driven by decarbonization, where we're integrating more and more renewable sources into our energy systems. Through decentralization, means energy will be generated in different locations and needs to be integrated, and of course through digitalization. And the old models are replaced through multidimensional, multidirectional models where renewables needs to be integrated into the grid, and where also producers, respectively consumers, turns into producers, what we also call prosumers, which needs to be also managed by the grid. And this all, of course, can be properly managed through utilizing digital technologies, respectively IoT technologies. The major change is coming at the interface between the energy supply side, which is more regulated, and on the energy demand side. So new solutions will appear because, once again, we need to manage the integration of different energy sources into the grid, but also we need to manage new models, integration of certain new energy sources by buildings, respectively also integration of the e-mobility, which also needs e-charging solutions. And this interface, what we call grid edge, where new business models, new solutions will happen. And that is also the area where we at Siemens are working together with our partners and providing solutions to our customers to manage this change at this interface. And at this interface, it's an ecosystem is happening, respectively arising. In these ecosystems, again, on one side, the energy supply side, which also integrates different energy sourcing, energy generation solutions into the grid. But on the other side, we have smart buildings, smart offices, smart transportation, which also needs to be integrated properly through different software solutions. For example, buildings will be able to generate their own energy using solar panels, for example, and can decide when to use the own generated energy, respectively store it, or even push back, respectively sell back into the grid. So there are a lot of new opportunities which are arising in the middle, in this interface, what we call grid edge. I'd like to share with you 2-3 examples. Here, my colleagues have worked and integrated a digital twin of the Finland's power grid. In the past, the operator, utility operator, is spending 80% of times collecting the data and 20% of their times analyzing and acting based on the data. This has been changed with the integration of the digital twin of the grid. Now the operators can spend just 20% of their time for collection of the data and using their majority of time for managing the grid. And here, more importantly, the new solution, the digital twin of the grid, provides solutions where the operators can not only operate, but also the asset management, but also infrastructure planning. Means when is one substation, for example, aging, when do we need to make certain maintenance work, respectively, when do we need to replace certain substations. So that is, in fact, only possible through having a digital twin of the grid, which also helps, of course, the operator to focus their work on balancing the energy supply on one hand, but also managing the grid and, of course, the infrastructure in the grid on the other hand. And here, the availability is increased to 99.999%, which was, of course, not possible in the earlier times with old technologies. And, of course, the digital twin also help the operators to expand the grid if new features are available, respectively, if new investments are needed. Just to share one example from North Europe. Another example from the similar region, also my colleagues have provided to one of the biggest shopping centers solutions where the shopping center can manage their own energy consumption by even generating their own energy, storing it, and deciding when to use their own energy, respectively, when they can utilize the energy from the grid. So that is, again, only possible through digital solutions where we can have, again, intelligent digital solutions which can help us to manage the building operations, especially optimizing the energy consumption of the building. With this, of course, reducing the CO2 emissions and also the integration between the building and the smart grid. So this is, again, another classical example where what we need to do it on the grid edge. Of course, we're also working on solutions here in Taiwan, and our energy IP is this solution where we can gather all the major data from different places, and also with this help to manage and adjust the operations on the grid. My colleagues are working on this project, and this is, in fact, will be operational by 2022, which will help us, of course, TPC, to manage and also increase the energy efficiency and stability of the grid here in Taiwan by, again, utilizing our energy IP solutions, which is, again, a very powerful IoT platform with energy data management system. I'm moving to my last and next block, and here I will share with you new solutions, digital solutions for a better mobility, connected mobility in cities. Again, digital solutions can help us to optimize the traffic flow, for example, in cities, with this, of course, to reduce the CO2 emissions in the cities. Here, the technology which I will introduce later on is called vehicle to everything, means connecting the vehicles with different infrastructure in the traffic system. And we also call it vehicle to X, because I can connect the vehicle to traffic lights, to other vehicles, or to buildings. I like to just share with you the trends coming through the, in fact, next generation of solutions in the mobility. In the past, and maybe also today still, most of the cars, we are owning them. They are standalone, they are not connected, and they are running mostly with the combustion engine, and usually we enjoy driving ourselves. But this is changing in the future. In the future, cars will be shared. There are a lot of examples happening already today in Europe, in different cities, car sharing examples. The cars will be connected to the surrounding, let's say, traffic infrastructure, like the traffic lights or buildings. Most of the cars will be electric vehicles. And also in the future, we will have more and more autonomous driving vehicles. So that are the trends coming. And all this is possible, of course, by having digital solutions and of course, connectivity solutions between different infrastructures. I like to share with you on the slides. It looks a bit crowded, but just to see what is all possible and what I mean with connected traffic systems. And this will, again, be only possible through digital solutions on one hand, but also utilizing the 5G technology I have just introduced in the industrial context. Also with the 5G technology, we will be able to connect the cars with each other, respectively with the street infrastructure. And again, the goal is here digitalizing of the street infrastructure, where we can provide better solutions for traffic flow. Also, we can help to provide autonomous driving solutions, and of course, with this optimize the traffic flow in the cities. Allow me to share 1-2 examples. For example, in the one, we might connect the cars with the traffic lights, that drivers can get in advance the time when the next traffic light will change, that he can adapt his speed according to the time remaining. Or providing to the buses, for example, a certain the right way of moving, which can help, of course, the flow of the traffic to run in a better way by having, for example, adapted green respectively red lights, where the buses can go through without having a congestion. Or in case of emergency, we also need to provide to the emergency to the ambulances the open ways, because every second counts, right? This can also be optimized by connecting the ambulance with the traffic lights, respectively, with the next close hospital, and having the way free for the ambulances, which they can utilize to go much faster than earlier times. So those are just some examples where we can utilize the so-called vehicle-to-X technology to run the flow in cities in a better way, optimize the flow, of course, with this reduce the CO2 emissions. I'd like to share with you 2 examples. The one, my colleagues have done it in Manhattan. And Manhattan, as you might know, is one of the most crowded cities in US. And my colleagues have supplying certain systems, including onboard units for around 6,000 vehicles and around 650 roadside units, which help, of course, to optimize the flow of the traffic, as I have just tried to share with a couple of examples. And with this, of course, once again, we avoid congestions. We help to run the traffic flow in a more optimized way. And with this, of course, we can reduce the CO2 emissions in cities. And of course, we are doing the same also here in Taiwan, in the Danhai, together with our partner. My colleagues are now providing our vehicle to X technology and traffic control, and for a new town. That's our first ITS and 5G project, where we can utilize those technologies to show how autonomous driving can work in cities like Danhai, and which would also, again, help us to run the traffic flow in a more optimized way, and also help us to implement autonomous driving solutions. Those are just some examples I have just shared. And as I said, technologies are today helping us to address the world's most pressing issues. And we are very much confident that by deploying the technologies I have just shared with you, we can help to run the things in a more optimized way. We can combat climate change. We can support the urbanization. We can utilize digital solutions. And of course, with the power of technologies, we can transform the everyday. That is it. Thank you for your attention. We will post this speech also in LinkedIn. That is my link to LinkedIn. Welcome to comment and share also your thoughts with me. Thank you very much.
communications, and then it's about 10 times more than the 4G. Okay? And then for the third one, that is the ultra reliable low latency. And this is especially important for critical applications such as smart manufacturing, because in the factory, so while the conveyor is moving, so this is like at speed. So the latency and non-disruptive is very important. And then also for the connected cars, that has been getting a lot of attention these years. And then finally, like the telemedicine, right? Telemedicine requires like a precision and then also no lag in order for the doctors to operate remotely. And that is like the ultimate stage of the telemedicine. So in other words, because of 5G, we also entered the era of clinical intelligence. With the help from big data, AI, and medical IoTs, they're all enhancing medical research and development. And it is all good and it is all needed. However, the problem we are trying to solve here is how to make these medical clinics available anytime, anywhere, and that is the telemedicine. And what requires is big bandwidth, right, for high resolution, because if you want the doctor to see the patients at a remote site, and then through the transmission of the medical images, and that has to be a very good resolution. And also the transmission has to be real time, and then so that they would be just like they were in the same room, and with very low latency, with lots of data and files and medical images that can be transmitted in real time. And also the communication platform that can bring all these parties together, right? And then the number of connections that will be able to support at any given time. Because when we talk about telemedicine, we are not just talking about one hospital and one clinic, right? And then we are talking about many to many kind of combinations or the communication sessions. So 5G is the one to support that. We actually have started this area in Far Eastern many years ago, but 4G just wouldn't cut it. On the right-hand side here is an image of the MRI scans. So as I know, right, in the past when we do the CT scans or when we do the X-rays, 4G can still do it. That's no problem. But if you look at for the MRI scans, there are so many images that are generated for the same scan at the same time. And each requires such a big resolution, high resolution. So 5G has to be the technology used for this purpose. Okay. All right, so there is a problem, and then I believe this is not unique to Taiwan. That is the urban-rural medical resource gap. And so in Taiwan, there are 2.7 million people. That is about 12% of our population here. That is, they are living in areas without sufficient medical resources. Okay. And the biggest problem becomes transportation, which is a challenge for folks there to access to medical resources that are hundreds of miles away. And the average life expectancy of the mountain Aborigines is 10 years shorter than the average of the total population in Taiwan. This is research by research, and it's real and it's sad.
我本身是原住民，然后会来偏乡服务，最主要是因为我是公费生。像我自己蛮幸运的，就是我也是回到自己的部落。其实偏乡的问题就是交通的问题，交通的问题其实是我们偏乡医疗花费最多的地方。传统的你要开着车，要打车，
所以我们总共要有自己跑车。昨天我去嘛，去医院维持费1500。我去看我去领药吗？这边有的话比较方便。
就是远距医疗刚好可以透过科技来弥补这个所谓的交通造成的困扰，所以远传在远距这方面是帮助真的很大。
远距医疗比较像是网路取代马路的一个概念，因为医疗很严谨，我们必须做一大堆的测试。那一直到今年5月份，在台东终于看到服务真的落地。
我们的卫生所基本上肩负的就是地区医疗的责任，在偏乡，我们其实希望能用科技来解决医生不足的问题。像现在有机会可以进到5G哦，那种影像的清晰度、声音的传达，然后整个没有 lag。那我相信未来远传5G 进来之后，我们提供的诊别就会更多。
因为远距离缩短他看病的时间，那这样就是我们把偏乡的医疗往上提升，那这是由医学中心去给它支撑。我想这样的话才能够解决跟都会的差距。
所以我们一开始就是跟远传合作的远距门诊，也就是你光是建立一个远距的点，你要花很多的设备费用。远传在设备方面，只要我们提出他们做得到，他们真的都有提供最好的设备。
远传为什么要这么积极的做远距诊疗？其实我们发现人口老化的速度比盖基础建设还来得快，所以我们必须要跑得更快。当我们行动网络5G 一旦完成之后，我们希望就马上就可以把这个服务推展出去。所以远传能做就是及早帮台湾做准备嘛。
So here's our 5G telemedicine solution that FET has created. In terms of the functions that it supports, it connects the local clinic center, or we call the health center in those rural areas, with the local hospitals or regional hospitals and the medical centers. So in the middle is the communication platform, which is cloud-enabled. And on it, there are several functions, and then that are facing the patients and also that are used by the doctors in the hospitals. So functions such as the online appointments, and then set up the communication connections, and the online real-time, the video conferencing and video recording, and because those sessions need to be recorded, just in case in the future there is medical disputes, these are all evidence. And then also how we get access to the medical files elsewhere, all in real time, right? And then of course the medical images that are taken at the local, at the rural side, and then have them uploaded in real time, transmitted to the doctors at the urban hospitals. So all this, all the way to the diagnostics, and then also the future appointments to be made, and also the prescription. And all one end-to-end, all these functions are supported by this communication platform. And then it is applied to Taiwan City as the first one. And the communication platform itself has several modules and that are critical to the working or the success of this telemedicine service. That includes very good user interface. And this is not a typical user UI. It also needs to be familiar with the scenarios or the SOP or the procedure, the flow, the information flow in the hospital when a patient like walks in, right? This is like if it's in the real physical hospitals, and when the patient comes in, what would they do? So you do all this virtually. So the UI for the patient has to be all taking into account these kind of human user factors. And then also, of course, the interface for the doctors that to be able to access their other reference files or records for the patients in real time. And also, as I mentioned, not only the video conferencing, and we need to do the video recording in real time as well. So there's lots of transmission that happens in real time. And then the delay actually is very good. So right now we are looking at 23 milliseconds two-way. So it's one way about 11.5 milliseconds. So both ways, end to end, is about 23 milliseconds. Okay. And then so the first one that we apply to, as I mentioned, is to Taiwan County. And then this is, we started with a few rural areas or rural villages. And then so we have the healthcare center, we have the local province hospital, and then we also have the medical centers there are actually 3 medical centers that help support the rural areas in Taiwan province because it is very big. Okay, so if you look at that, right, so far there are already more than 2,200 online visits that are completed. And then remember, these are the areas that do not have these kind of specialty doctors at all. So in the past, folks will have to travel, and this includes 2 offshore islands that the people would have to fly or by boat, right, to come to the inland to get the medical treatment or clinics. And then also this platform supports not only just two-way, and then it's a joint clinic sessions as well, because like I said, we have province hospital, and then we also have medical centers. So sometimes we need the doctors join sessions to discuss the patient's case, and that can be supported on this platform as well. Okay. All right, and then here's another case of we use telemedicine for, that is diabetes medical care. As I understand from this research, diabetes healthcare actually requires a lot of regular checkups. That includes the metabolism consultation, and then to check on your eyes condition, and then also your blood glucose monitoring. So these regular checkups will require a lot of trips. And for folks that live in those rural areas that are hard or far to reach, and that is a chore, definitely very inconvenient and very hard to do. So we use the telemedicine in the new Taipei City area, right? There are two rural areas. One is close to the northern shore, and one is in the mountains of this province. And then it's supported by the Far Eastern Medical Center that is also in the same group that Far Eastern Telecom belongs to. And then so we cooperated with the hospital and then provided this service. So this is an integrated diabetes medical care that we provide to the residents in the rural areas for New Taipei City. As I mentioned, that our government has seen the success that we demonstrated how this telemedicine works, and because it is really working, and then the kind of service and the benefits that these rural residents were able to get. So the government has made a big step to allow these kind of services to be offered to all the rural areas in Taiwan, that they will have 5G supported telemedicine, which is really a big advancement from the regulation perspective, because in the past it is not allowed and it's not supported by the insurance, but now patients go to use these health care services that they can get reimbursed by the government's insurance as well. Okay. So we did all that before COVID-19 hit us, right? And then so as COVID-19 impacted the whole world, and everybody knew it drove the needs for zero touch. And then so that also changed the medical model. And then so this is also another, I hate to say great opportunity, but definitely it is the time where telemedicine can be more frequently used, and then really this is where the medical resources in such a dire needs, and then so everything that we can do, we want to be able to help. Okay. So just recently, as the world probably already knows, in the past year, Taiwan has been pretty lucky. We lucked out. We were blessed that we were pretty much intact from the COVID-19, but then just recently that we had outbreak. So we are experiencing what the rest of the world was experiencing a year ago. So we see, the number of the cases have raised, have increased, and then it is kind of scary. And then a lot of people don't want to go to a hospital, especially if they are not COVID-19 related. So we work with Far Eastern Hospital to make this telemedicine available, and then we created an app, the user app on their phone. Remember, in the previous cases, these applications are actually available at a healthcare center. So patients still need to go to the nearby healthcare center. So these are not on their mobile. Okay, but then now with this need, so we actually create a mobile application for it. So it becomes a doctor to patient kind of communication, direct communication. As this is just like kicked off a week ago, we try to make this available to more people. And then so not every single function is right away available on the mobile. So we are a little bit limited by that in terms of the number of patients we were able to to help. But if you look at the pictures, right, so in the hospital, it's all empty because nobody dared to go near. And then in terms of the number of patients, that has been, very low. We are talking about non-COVID related. But then now with this telemedicine, so folks with other kind of disease that need regular checkup or need a medicine or need a doctors to see how they are doing, they can all do this by this telemedicine service that we just started to offer to the urban areas as well. Okay, so looking forward, I have to say this telemedicine service to us is not just a business opportunity. To us, it's about social responsibility. So my team and myself, we found it very rewarding that we are able to use the 5G and the communication technology to really help people and to bridge the resource gap, the medical resource gap between the urban and the rural areas. So it is all very inspiring and then very blessed to work on these kind of projects. And looking forward, as in the video, my manager Chen has mentioned, Taiwan is aging really, really fast, and it is estimated that we'll enter super aged society in 2026. In fact, since 2018, we already reached age society because now we have more than 14% of the population. They are more than 65 years old. So this fast aging process, of course, will create more problems in terms of the long-term care. There are just less younger people to take care of the older people, right? So, and then also for the older people, whether they live in urban, they have the challenge with the mobility, right? And some of them live in higher floors, and then the building may be without elevators. So you can imagine we have cases like that where they can really use the urban telemedicine service. And as I mentioned earlier, our government actually has relaxed the regulation and allowed the rural areas to first apply these telemedicine service. I think with the COVID-19, that changed the model, and hopefully the government is going to do more with the urban areas as well. But then for now, we are doing it as a social responsibility, as a service to help the hospitals that have contacted us for this kind of a service. And so we will do all that. But then looking forward for the senior people, there's definitely more needs for the home service, for the home telemedicine. And of course, to do that, we will also need more medical IoT devices to be available, because after all, 5G and the communication only enable what can be done on it. But then in terms of how to measure or how to detect if there's any problem, or just to check the health condition of the patient, we still need lots of medical devices that are connected or that can be connected on the 5G, and then to support this whole telemedicine services. So this is an area for multiple partners to work on, and this is not just by telco from the communication perspective. Okay. And then there are definitely future enhancements for telemedicine. As you may see, so far I haven't mentioned AI, right? We were just kind of really doing the infrastructure kind of thing for the telemedicine to make it available anytime, right? And then overcome the distance challenges, the transportation challenges. But then with more and more telemedicine services and then IoT medical devices, there are lots of data that are being collected, and that can be analyzed with the big data or AI kind of technologies. So we can see the real-time AI-assisted analysis, detection, or prediction, or prevention that can be done, right, in the near future. So there's a lot to be done and can be done in the telemedicine area as well. Okay. Okay. So other than the smart solutions in the medical area, that is telemedicine, Far Eastern team has also engaged or devoted in other areas for the smart ICT as well, such as smart city, smart manufacturing, and also smart retailing, to name a few. And then a lot of these really requires like a partnership across several verticals, because you need not only the communication technology and IT that we bring to the table, there is also the operations technology, which varies from vertical to vertical, even in the same vertical, and then it varies from one company to another, right? So smart manufacturing is just two words, but then, you know, what can be manufactured, and then the process that will be in place for each type of manufacturing is all different. So how do we make all this benefit from the telecommunication, or from the 5G networks or 5G private networks, for example? It's a big area that I believe a lot of us can work together. So we welcome partnership to co-create and collaborate in these smart solutions and applications. So if you are interested, please feel free to contact us, and the QR code on the right-hand side is for your reference. And I hope the talk you find interesting or helpful. And thank you, and I wish you all well. Goodbye.